Being tactful is often dismissed as a polite social compliment, but when viewed through the lens of skill development, it is something far more serious, a form of strategic communication. It is the ability to read context, define the real objective of a conversation, and choose a way of speaking that increases the likelihood that the desired outcome actually happens in real life. Many people confuse tact with smooth talk. Smooth talk aims to sound pleasant and make others feel good. Tact, by contrast, speaks less but produces results more reliably because it is grounded in an uncomfortable truth. Most conflicts do not arise from right versus wrong, but from placing what is right in the wrong moment, the wrong setting, or the wrong delivery. At its core, tact begins with separating three elements before speaking: the objective, the relationship, and the tolerance level of the context. If the objective is to get someone to take action, the language must pull them toward action, not drag them into debate. If the objective is to preserve a relationship for the long term, being right in the moment is often far less valuable than securing cooperation 6 months later. And if the environment is tense, defensive, or emotionally charged, even the most accurate statement can function like fuel on a fire. This is why tact is fundamentally a skill of leverage. Some things can be said bluntly and win the argument, but lose the outcome. Other things, when phrased indirectly, may cost a bit of ego but deliver real results. Mature communicators do not speak to satisfy the impulse of, "I need to say this now." They speak according to a different calculation. What do I want to happen after this conversation ends? In family life, tact often shows up in small, easily overlooked moments. Instead of throwing conclusions at each other, one shifts toward asking questions that allow the other person to step into the issue themselves. This is not suppression or self-denial, it is psychological literacy. When people are handed conclusions, they defend themselves. When they arrive at conclusions on their own, they take ownership, and change becomes possible. The content may be identical, but the framing determines whether the interaction moves toward collaboration or emotional shutdown. In professional settings, tact is the ability to distinguish between technical disagreement and threats to status. A manager or colleague may resist not because they fail to understand, but because they are protecting authority, face, or decision-making control. Saying, "You're wrong," pushes them into defense. Saying, "I see two risks here, how should we choose to mitigate them?" restores their sense of leadership. The skill is not in eloquent wording, but in positioning the other person where agreement feels safe without compromising your standards. In communities and group dynamics, tact is knowing when winning is unnecessary. Some conversations create nothing but additional enemies if you win. Stepping back a half step in those cases often opens space for real work later. Highly capable people are rarely addicted to being publicly right. They are addicted to problems being solved, and they are willing to use quieter, less performative routes to reach that goal. If tact is treated as a skill, it can be trained like a muscle through concrete practices. Before responding to something irritating, pause for 2 seconds and ask, "What result do I want right now?" If the answer is, "I want them to listen," the opening line should reduce distance, acknowledging emotion or shared goals, rather than correcting errors. If the answer is, "I want to move this forward," speak in terms of criteria and next steps, not historical blame. A highly effective exercise is converting statements into directional questions. Instead of, "This is wrong," try, "What risks do we face if we do it this way?" Instead of, "You need to understand," try, "Our goal is A. Here are 2 options. Which one is easier to execute?" Instead of, "I already told you," try, "Let me summarize 2 points so we're aligned." You will notice that the same technical competence becomes usable when delivered with tact and resisted when it is not. The most common mistake in learning tact is turning it into people-pleasing. That is not tact. Tact does not lower standards, it changes the transmission strategy. Your principles remain intact. You simply choose a lower friction path for those principles to enter reality. Those without tact try to force truth into others. Those with tact design conditions where others carry the truth home themselves. You will know you are leveling up when 3 things start happening. Conversations end with next steps instead of extended arguments, relationships maintain cooperation despite disagreement, and you speak less while others act more. Because in the end, communication skill is not about saying what is right. It's about saying it in a way that allows what is right to step into the world.